What's up? What's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we discuss the arts, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. With this episode's guest, James Piscitelli. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, welcome to Done Way Past Funny, where we discuss the art, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. I'm your host, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. So I tell myself. My guest today is mockumentary short filmmaker, James Piscitelli. Welcome, James.
Oh, thank you so much, GD. Thanks for having me on your show. Really appreciate it.
Hey, I thank you for doing this. I know you could. I know you've been had offers to be on Colbert and Leno, and not Leno. The two Jimmys, and you turned them down to be here. So I appreciate that.
I absolutely. I said I am doing GD. You'll have to wait. So
Yeah, and they will wait. I don't if you want to make them wait forever, I'm fine with that.
what I may be waiting forever. Yeah. So
I'm just saying they should have approached you first. That's all I'm saying.
absolutely. Yes.
So James, the first question I ask everybody is for you to tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you do it, and how you can be stalked if you want to be stalked.
Sure. So my name's James Piscitelli, and I am at this point in my life, more of a part-time filmmaker. I did go to film school, and after that, not finding any kind of real work within the industry, I decided to go to law school. From there, went on to work for a major insurance company, and then eventually becoming an insurance agent, which I've been running an independent insurance agency for the last 20 years. I make short films. I've made feature films. If you want to see my work or you want to get in touch with me, I'm going to show you my artistic ability right here, right now. Here's my YouTube channel, James Piscitelli 1739, and then Instagram is JF Piscitelli. If you want to see some photos and a couple of quick trailers and things like that. And sometimes we'll make little announcements on there if we're working on something or casting. It's a nice way to easily get in touch with people. So that's a little bit about me. Had several films over the last few years make it into some film festivals, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yes.
And essentially, just so you know what you're dealing with here is, I'm a micro budget filmmaker, which means I'm just making money without, I'm sorry, the money I'm using towards my films is very minimal. It's all put together with a lot of duct tape and spit and blood, and that's the best way. It's fun. And we control the content. We kind of don't owe anybody anything. And that kind of freedom is really a lot of fun, and so we enjoy that, and that's what we've been doing for many years, before there was even an internet.
Now, because you talked about the budget, and I was talking to someone. Actually, my next door neighbor is producing and writing his own series for television, and so one of the things I've learned about working on a shoestring budget, or a budget that's even lower than even tighter than a shoestring budget. I don't know what's tighter than that, but something tighter than that is that when you come across a problem, you have to solve it the cheapest way possible, but you don't want to cheapen the product. I mean, everybody, right. I mean, it's going to be if it's low budget. I mean, someone looking at one of your shorts is not going to mistake your budget for, let's say, Marvel.
Right.
You don't have the CGI thing. So if you want an alien, you have to do the cheapest dollar store alien that you can do, but yet make it a representative of the alien that you want. Am I correct in
Right.
that?
Yeah, you have to get creative. You really do. And you've just got to use everything that you can get your hands on.
Right,
So, as an example, in our short film, Larry Armstrong, which is about an ill-advised astronaut who wants to get into space. We had a little Saturn V rocket prop.
right.
Not only was a prop that we held, but it's also the model we used in Photoshop to launch it. And we couldn't build a cockpit for the LEM, so we basically just put a chair on the ground and surrounded it with lights
Right.
and just framed it just right. So all you could see was the lights around the actor's head, his helmet, and he looked like he was sitting in a spacecraft. And
Now,
so that's the kind of stuff you have to do.
I think if I remember that, because that's not one of the clips I have here, but I will add it. I will add it later on so that people can see
Sure.
what we're talking about. But if I remember correctly, there's a scene of him like getting in or out of a capsule. So I'm thinking you must have gone to like a museum where they allowed you to get in and out of a capsule.
Okay, so I'm just going to say that we went to a museum. I'm not sure if they allowed us to be there.
Oh, guerrilla filmmaking.
This was truly a guerrilla fit. We bought it was myself and a cameraman and my co-writer and co-director Ed Campodonico, who's the actor who played Larry. We just bought some tickets to the museum and just went in there, camera under our jacket, and just kind of filmed. And people were giving us some odd looks, but they thought we were just tourists.
Right. Yeah.
And we took some pictures and some video, and that ended up as part of the opening of the film, the inspiration for our character going to the museum and seeing the Friendship 7. I think that's the capsule he's actually coming out of. That's the capsule. I believe that the Friendship is the one that was John Glenn's, if my history is correct.
If it's, I'll put it in a footnote whichever one it was. People will learn. They'll know. You don't have to be right. That's my job. We can be as wrong as we want to be.
Excellent.
And if we need to correct it, we'll correct it in post with like a little title or a little script thing.
That's the story of my life. Wrong as I want to be. That's definitely it.
That's your next mockumentary. A guy standing at the altar and it's wrong as I want to be. No, let me
wrong again.
Now, let's see. There is now when you create these things, like I said, they're mockumentaries, so there are no jokes in there, as much as the humor is based on situations, basically situations and maybe language, a pun here or there, but for the most part, the humor is in the
humor's in this situation that
right.
we're like doing an expose on a person's life, and that person is very odd, and we are taking that person very seriously.
Yes.
And that's hopefully the humor, is that we're not saying laugh with us, but hopefully you're going to laugh, because
right.
It's like a bit of deadpan, the whole thing.
I used to write political sketches for a podcast, and they're like 4-minute sketches. But since it was a podcast, there was no video. Everything was so it was almost like listening to. I looked at it in like the old radio shows, like the old radio series. You listen to it, and you had to invite them into the world so they could see the world that you created. Now, since you're using a video, you don't exactly have to do that, but you still have to create a world that people are going to forget that world really doesn't exist.
Well, yeah. We want people to maybe be initially confused. Is this for real?
Right.
Is this, it's always nice to have that, but I think once you get within about 30 seconds of the film, where especially like Larry is talking about nobody really likes him, or nobody understands him, like his mother, his father, his
Right.
girlfriend. He just goes through a whole litany of folks that just don't understand him, and just kind of sets the stage for what you're about to jump into.
A lot of people have said to me, Larry, forget about it. You just can't do it. I mean, a lot of people have said this, like my mother, my father, both sets of grandparents, neighbors, the garbage man, the letter carrier, my therapist, local law enforcement. Come to think of it, everyone I know has told me to forget about it.
So yeah, for sure.
Now, usually once you do these mockumentaries, because they're not very long in length. I think the longest one I've seen was like 6 minutes. I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, they're short. So just to give you the background on, for instance, Mickey Owen and Larry Armstrong, those were actually created to be entered into some competitions, some film festival competitions. Mickey Owen was made quite a long time ago, and it was I think it was 2003. The Project Greenlight. I don't know if you recall, there was a reality TV show in the 2000s called Project Greenlight with
I'm sorry,
Ben
I mean to
Affleck.
interrupt. Which one is Mickey? That's not the Netsman. That's the
No, Netsman. Yes, Mickey Owen Netsman is was made to go into that competition, Project Greenlight. Larry Armstrong was made to go into a competition for the Sci-Fi Channel, had a film competition festival. And the Jerry Tarpini one we just made because we loved the character. We just loved the movie. We just wanted to make the movie. We didn't care what happened with it. We just wanted to show it to friends. And the main actor, John Slevin, who plays Tarpini, happens to be my cousin, and he's not an actor, as I think you might be able to tell that. He was just kind of playing himself, and that's why we did it. We just let's roll the camera and see what happens here. And we built a story around him. He's not even Italian. That's the funny part.
Okay, I'll say, because he comes off. I will show a clip from that. That would be the fitness expert.
America, a nation with a weight problem. While many laterally overpresent people turn to the latest diets and exercise craze in a desperate attempt to take off a few pounds, few, if any, will ever win this modern-day battle of the bulge. But that's not the case here in the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, where one man is fighting an unorthodox, albeit successful battle against obesity.
Not for nothing, but forget about Lucille Roberts and Jack LaLanne. You really want to get into shape, you got to come see me. The biggest problem with people when it comes to weight loss is their lack of discipline. Well, I'm here to provide that discipline. Have another donut? Huh? You gonna have another donut? We're not like other health clubs. We don't spend a lot of money on equipment. This is a piece of equipment I designed myself. Sure, it looks like a normal treadmill, but drop below 10 miles an hour, it's 200 volts of incentive. That's what I call motivation. I was the first guy to start this cross-training stuff. Cover your face. Grab him. Boy, that's gonna leave a mark. Let me tell you something. When you join my program, I'll be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Look at this guy. Pizza.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
How you doing with pizza?
Hey, it's for the family. It's really not for me. I'm not going to eat any of it.
Yeah, but and pepperoni on top of everything? Listen, I'm taking this. It's for your own goddamn good.
Yeah, he's a fitness expert.
Yes. So I will show a clip from that as well. And because one of the things I watched and noticed is that almost everybody in yours said I think they're almost all New York Italian. It seems like it anyway. It almost seems like.
Well, they're either New York Italian, New York Russian, New York bureaucrats. You know, we we
It's a
throw it all in there,
gambit.
but
You didn't
but
spare any
it's
expense of
it,
finding a New Yorker. Right.
you know, it's what, again, this is what you have, and
Right.
you work with it. You just run with it.
So now, because when I've written scripts for short films as well, and sometimes one of the things I came across is like I had an idea, I'd write it, and then I'd go to the location and then I say, okay, I'm gonna have to rewrite this a little bit because the location doesn't have a flight of stairs for us to push him down. So where are we going to push him, or is he going to get pushed? How are we going to kill him now? Or okay, I guess he has to trip off the curb and get hit by a car. We do have a car and we have a curb, so
Right.
we write the script. So does that happen with you as well?
Well, one of the things you want to do with micro budget filmmaking is just kind of know the locations you have available.
Right.
That in and of itself, because one of the things that will kill you, and it will grind the production to a halt, is you write something so specific
Yes.
that you do not have access to or cannot get in a timely fashion. You come to that day of shooting, and if it's critical, if it's integral, it just ruins the whole thing. So you have to do one of two things. You have to rewrite it, jettison that location, or you just make sure that when you're writing, you know what, before you start, you know what you're going to have. And we do this all the time. We'll make a list of the things sometimes the creative process is like that. We had my cousin, we had that, we shot, we had in my basement, we had a treadmill. Oh, we got that.
Right. Yeah.
We had a baseball bat. Okay, we got that. Just whatever. So this is, I know it sounds very academic, but you make a list of what you have, and you know where you're going to go with this character, and you just give them those things.
The golf course. There's a scene on a golf course that's not included in one of the clips, but I'm going to have to add it now because I'm talking about it.
Yes.
I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go.
What, are you kidding me? I've been here for years. What am I supposed to do now? This is my life.
Well, I bounced back. It's an entirely new sport, but I see a lot of potential here. A lot of potential.
Can I get a 6-iron, please?
Yes, sir. Coming right up. What the hell are you doing with that?
Sir, this won't be a penalty on the stroke. I'm sorry, sir. This won't be a penalty.
Was that gorilla as well?
No, so really that was not a golf course. It was just a park.
Oh,
It was it was a park on grounds of Long Island. I'm trying to think of the exact location where that was. It was basically like somewhere in Cold Spring Harbor, and it was a public park. And we just went there with a set of golf clubs and, just shot it on a little hill. It looked like a golf course. It was perfect. So we just kind of guerrilla filmmaking did that. We knew that was going to be our ending, and
right.
we knew that shot we could get in probably 10 or 15 minutes. So even if someone said, "Hey, where's your permit?" we would have been out of there before that. And as you can see, another thing is like it had a stunt, and it's me. So
right.
I get hit with golf clubs. So, I'm not going to sue myself, and I'm taking the risk out of it. So another feature of these micro budget films is you'll often cast yourself and cast, close associates because
right.
you just know, I know I'm going to show up.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, sometimes it's really funny, GD. We actually have such a small crew sometimes. We set the camera up on a tripod, frame it out, and run in front of it and shoot.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's how low rent it gets. But, nobody knows. No one would say, there was no one. Wait a second. There was no one behind the camera. That doesn't work.
Yeah, I
They
have
work.
done, Alexa, I didn't realize until like right now when we're talking, as you talk about certain things, I'm remembering all of the short films I've made, but I forget that they're shorts because what it is when I first started doing comedy, I wanted my advertisements for my shows to stand out, to be a little different, because everybody had flyers. This is the show, and these are the comedians, and so whenever I would do my shows, I would have like the show. I would do a short film, and it's about talking about the show. Like so, it'd be a short film of me talking about writing the script for the show, and it
Mhm.
was myself and my co-actor, my co-star was my urn. My urn is my urn is when I was in my 20s, I had a death mask made, and that's actually what's on my urn. My urn is my face, so it's another face. That's my co-star. And if when there was one episode when we were superheroes, and I put a mask and a cape on my urn, so. But again, it's like you said, you work with what you have. Now,
Yeah.
have you, because you're in New York, ever done like if you have let's say you have a friend who has a pizzeria, you want to promote it, shoot it at the pizzeria so the pizzeria sign is there and everybody sees the pizzeria. There's a short film, but it's actually a commercial
Yeah, yeah.
featuring the pizzeria or whatever.
Well, we haven't really done anything like that, like a direct tie-in, but I know plenty of
Tie-in, that's
filmmakers.
what it's called. See, I don't know the film jargon.
I no, but I've worked with other filmmakers who have definitely done that. Like for instance, I know one filmmaker many years ago, before Subway was as big as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
The guy had like a Subway shop, and he he asked the Subway guy, "Could you cater my movie? And could you do it for real cheap or for free? And I'll photograph your store. It'll be in the movie."
Oh
And
yeah, yeah,
the guy said, "Yeah, sure." And
yeah.
he catered the film for like 10 days, 10 days worth of Subway sandwiches. I don't think, the people were so happy to have Subway every day, but it's better than not eating.
Well, if you now, and that's the other thing when you're working with I shot a film short for a comedy show I did, and the film short I paid the actors I paid in food.
Yeah.
I didn't have any money. I spent my money making props, and I spent my money renting the room for that was supposed to have been the office and also the hospital.
So there's going to be scene 3, take 3.
It's depending on where the camera pointed. If the camera pointed to the left, it's the office. If the camera pointed to the right, you're in the hospital.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's common. And most of the films there's not been a film actually that we've made where we paid actors. It's not that I'm against paying actors, and I certainly would. I'm actually in a better financial position now than I was like say 30 years ago
Yeah,
to give people a little bit of a stipend. But what we always paid for was food and transportation.
yeah,
That was, that's kind of a given. So that was always built into a budget. But for the most part, you look for actors. Like for instance, in my feature film, The Ninth Circle, I cast all the actors mostly out of a film. I'm sorry, a actor studio out of New York City.
right.
They were all college students and people trying to make their way into the industry, and they I transported them out from New York City out to Long Island because we shot in the snow out in the
Oh,
fields. And that's how we did it. We didn't really pay them other than that, and it worked out really well. And they were terrific. It's great to get the other thing that's really important with the micro budget films, especially if you're doing larger films, is you really do have to have some trained actors. You can't
yeah,
do it all with amateurs. I do a mix. I always have a mix of people who have never been in a movie because they're a unique character. But for the most part, when you have a lot of dialogue, it's very difficult for someone who's got no training.
Oh yeah.
They struggle, and it's not their fault. And you get frustrated. You get frustrated. So you don't do that. You give them small amounts of lines, and you depend on your trained actors to do the heavy lifting of dialogue, because that's a skill. It's a skill that you have to learn, and you can't come out to the shoot in one day and figure it out.
Now we've talked about. I have 3 clips here prepared, and we've covered all 3 of them, and I haven't shown one of them. So I'm going to show. I'm going to show the trailer from
Okay.
Ninth Circle, since we're talking about the snowstorm and stuff.
Okay.
And this was actually your feature length film, right? It's
Yes.
like 90 minutes or something.
It's just about an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me play that real quick.
Sure.
What happened? Where is everyone?
You will not interrupt this group during prayer!
I'm gonna tell you, I forget that that's a small budget film.
Yeah. Well, so that one, if you watch the whole trailer, I'll just kind of recap it a little bit. It was shot in 1988 with a budget at that time of just under $10,000. Shot on film. That's not video.
Right.
We gathered I was in my senior year as a film student at Long Island University, CW Post. And I used that opportunity. That the script was my senior thesis. And I was able to then very brazenly say, I'm going to make this movie. And we shot it in the winter. Luckily, we got snow.
Yeah.
Because the theme of the film, it's a post-apocalyptic situation after a war, and we have a nuclear winter.
Yeah.
And it's an allegory of the ninth circle of Dante's Inferno, and the ninth circle is one of the circles of hell, in which he is journeying through. So that's the theme of the film. So it's we shot it, and we struggled through it. 25 days of shooting, really tough. Got it done, but just ran out of money, and I just could not finish it. So I just shelved it. And it sat in a series of garages for about 30 years. And in 2019, it was 2019, I pulled it out, transferred everything digitally from the original negative,
Right.
restored it, had footage that was not even fully developed. It was still in the can.
Right.
Had that
Okay.
had developed, it was badly damaged. I restored that to get it to look at least acceptable, and then cut the whole film together. And it was just amazing that I couldn't believe that it came together. All the work we had done had somehow paid off many years later.
Hi, I'm GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist and host of Done Way Past Funny. You have just watched part 1 of our interview with mockumentary filmmaker James Piscitelli. Join us as we continue our interview, and when you come back to join us, bring a friend.
it.